Hi, I'm Darren from DBR Sports Therapy, and today I'm going to talk to you about a question which I hear a lot. Why do I always get injured? Okay, first let's talk about different injury grades. We've all been there, we've all had that niggle, that pain in the neck, that pain in the hip. Well, niggles can lead into strains, and strains can lead into out of action, and we don't want that, because out of action means 4 to 8 weeks of you not doing your exercise or your activity that you love. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about how we're going to prevent that. Okay, first up, not listening to your body. Pain. Pain is the body's indicator that something is wrong. I hear a lot about people training through niggles, and it's typical Irish mentality. Sure, listen, it'll fix itself. Well, chances are it won't unless you do something about it. Sleep, recovery. Are you tired? Are you meeting the energy demands of your training, of your activity? What's your diet like? Are you getting enough veg in, enough fruit in, enough carbohydrates, protein? Is your body able to recover? Your diet is a crucial part of living, of being healthy, of being functioning, and it can dramatically decrease your performance if your diet is bad. Okay, next up, know your limits. Training works on a progressional scale. If we take a marathon, for example, you work a little bit harder each week, eventually working up to your 20 miles. You don't start out at 20 miles. You don't hop out of the bed day one and go, okay, here we go, 20 miles. Everything follows an even scale. If you jump that, the chances of you getting injured are huge. And I know it because I've seen it. People doing too much, too soon, too fast. They get injured. Okay, here's the big elephant in the room. Mobility. Are you doing enough mobility to match your workload? If you're running 20 miles a week and you're doing an hour's mobility a week, when you start doing 40, are you doubling your mobility and doing 2 hours a week? Chances are you're not. Imbalances. The body isn't symmetrical, even though it wants to be. So what does it do? It compensates and it adapts, sometimes in poor movement patterns. Form, technique. When you're stretching, is one side tighter than the other? Is one side weaker than the other? Do you have a stronger side? Chances are you do. This all leads to prevention. How do we prevent? We need to strengthen our weaknesses. How do I know if I have a weakness or imbalance? Okay, well, let's simplify it. Do you always get injured, strained, or a niggle on one particular side more than the other? Well, there you go. That's an imbalance right there. Worst case scenario. What if I get injured? Okay, you have to stay positive. Personally, I've been there, I've been injured, I know what it feels like. I was out of the gym for months and months due to a shoulder injury. Ironic, I know, I'm the guy that fixes people and I get injured. But listen, it happens to Olympians, it happens to everyone. You have to stay mentally positive. It can be frustrating, you can get depressed, there's an endless list of feelings that you can feel. But stay positive because you can be fixed. Okay, we're injured. We need an action plan. Let's keep it simple. RICE. Rest, ice, compress, elevate. It's so simple, but it works. Some of the best anti-inflammatories are natural things. Ice, fish oils, turmeric, they all work. Okay, so we're following the RICE protocol. What next? You need to get on the phone, get on Google, ask a friend, seek treatment, find a good sport therapist, physical therapist, a therapist that can treat injuries. That's going to be the first step on you being pain-free. You deserve to be pain-free. We all want to be pain-free and no one wants to get injured. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching the video. I know injuries can sometimes be the worst thing in the world, but most of the time they can be preventable. If you have any questions or queries or anything, feel free to email me. I'll be happy to answer them. Okay, thanks very much, guys.